Alright, now I'm going to talk about lighting a sphere, and I'm going to be using a very simple lighting setup where the light is coming directly from the side. So what I mean by that is it's not at an angle like that, nor is it at an angle like that, and these would show that the light's coming, from that direction or that direction. It's just straight on from the side. And let's imagine the light rays again, and they're all traveling in a straight line, right? Now, you can draw this as well, but draw the light rays and then draw where they hit the circle. So like this one hits, that one hits, that one hits, that one hits about there. And then notice how at some point they stop hitting the circle. And same thing, I can keep drawing the light hitting the circle, and then at some point it stops hitting the circle. Like it can no longer hit the circle, the light just goes past it, right? If we keep drawing straight lines. So what is important to notice is where those points stop hitting the circle. And so here, light can hit the circle, hit, and then no longer can it hit if it goes any higher. So right about here, and here it hits, and then right about here. And so these 2 points are where light cannot touch anymore. And I can outline all the points on the circle that light can touch. Now, what do you notice about this? Well, it divides the sphere completely in half. And if we connect these 2 points, this is what would separate the light side from the dark side. So everything here is light side, everything here is dark side. So this is like the Jedi and this is the Sith. So anyway, what else do we notice? Well, if you draw a line perpendicular to this angle, and right now it's going straight up and down. So if we draw a line at right angles to this, it points directly to where the light is coming from. So just by finding these 2 points and then connecting them, we can find out where the light's coming from. So if we were to draw more circles, so let me just draw a few circles. And for each one of them, I'm going to give them all their own light. So for this one here, I'm going to say the light's coming from here. Okay? For this one, the light can come from here. For this one, maybe straight down. For this one, maybe like that. All right? So now what you can do is you could even just pause the video, draw these out, and then figure it out yourself where the light is, where the light side will be and where the dark side will be. So again, you just figure out what the direction of the light is, and then you find the points where it can't hit anymore, this circle or sphere. And again, it's going to divide the sphere evenly in half, and this line is going to be perpendicular to the direction of where the light's coming from. So for this one, the light's coming from this way. So even without drawing all those lines, I know, okay, well, I've got to divide this in half, and it's got to be at an angle perpendicular to this. So, well, if we get that, then this side will be in light, and this side will be in shadow. And then for here, you know, there's a 2. And notice that this is the widest point of the sphere. Of course, in 3 dimensions, it's always going to be, like, any point can be the widest point because it's a sphere, but the light cannot get, if it's coming from this direction, cannot get beyond the widest points. Okay, and in this case, same thing, light's coming from here, so perpendicular to that is here and here. Now, what about cases where the light isn't coming purely from the side like this, and maybe it's more like this one, this arrow, where it's sort of from the front, or this one where it's sort of from behind? Well, in these cases the light direction is actually different, but let's say this was moved over here. So how would we deal with that? Well, you'd get, let me just erase all this. You have the light coming from this direction, all right? So perpendicular is here. So you get a dot and a dot dividing this cleanly in half. But now, instead of just getting a straight line connecting these 2 points, because this is in the front, more of this, the face of this sphere, is going to be illuminated. So you won't get the straight line. What you'll get is a curved line. But the important thing is it still connects this point and this point. Now, if the light's coming from this direction, so let's draw points perpendicular here and here, and I'll just erase this. Then you're going to get a curved line again, but instead of it being this way, showing that the light's coming in front, it's going to go this way. So this is the light side now, and this is the shadow side. So it's always going to divide, you know, into light and shadow if we're using this one now. But the important thing is that this and this, if you connected them, they would still divide the circle cleanly in half, and that this curve has to touch this both these points. Okay? Now there are exceptions to this rule, but I don't want to get into them just yet, because I think the first thing, it's really important that you can figure out on any sphere, you know, and for this, like knowing, well, how much does this curve come out? It just depends on where the light is. You know, if it's further behind, then you're gonna get less in light and more in shadow. So let's say the light was just, you know, maybe here at this point, then there's going to be much less in shadow. I mean, much less in light. There's just going to be a little sliver of light. And as you move towards the side view, because the side view, if it was purely like it's not in front or behind, it's just right in between, then it's going to divide it evenly. So you can just sort of imagine different amounts where, okay, maybe this could be the shadow if it's close to being a pure side view, or this could be it if it's more or more or more. And then eventually the whole thing could be in shadow, or if you had the light coming directly from the front. So if this is like the end of the light, then that would be there, and it's just pointing straight at this surface, and the whole thing's going to be light, right? Light. Okay, so what I would again recommend doing is, if you haven't done this or you're not familiar, or you need to, acquaint yourself with this concept, just draw a lot of circles, pick a light source, figure out, is it in front or behind or not, and then plot the 2 points that are in a position perpendicular to the direction of the light. And then if it's more in front, then you're going to get a larger portion of light side. And if it's more behind, then you're going to get a larger portion that is in shadow. And if it's an even split, then these lines are just going to be connected by a straight line.